I wasn't expecting my first build of patch 0.8.3 to turn out so well, but I guess having the Greek god of Sky on your side is a good thing. Smite your enemies down with my first official Last Epoch build guide, introducing the JAVAZEUS. Welcome! It's your friendly neighborhood Badger here, and I'm back with a debut Last Epoch build guide. Right out of the gate, I'm labeling this build extremely beginner friendly. Not only because it requires no uniques at all and has a very understandable gearing path, but also because I consider myself a beginner in Last Epoch, and if I can make this work, so can you. But don't let beginner friendly turn you away, no, because the JAVAZEUS has fast clear, great boss damage, and looks stylish while doing all of it. Capable of farming all content, including empowered monoliths, this build's only weakness is sensitive eyes. Sunglasses recommended. This build utilizes Javelin's Siege Barrage skill point for Javelin Rain, Nova Hammer Throws, and Smite proc Idols to decimate everything in its path with lightning, and boy, does it do it well. Before I get into everything, it would mean the world to me if you hit that sub button down below. This is a new avenue for me in Last Epoch builds, so if you want to see more, it's the best way to let me know. Build planner and sample filter are down below in the description, but let's get right into it. First of all, let's talk about the skills themselves. Now I'm going to talk about the skills, then I'm going to talk about the passive points in the tree, then I'm going to talk about the gearing choices, the blessings, and then how to level the character at the end, but leveling is super self-explanatory, so that's going to be really short. Watching through this, I should be able to give you all the information. I'm going to be going pretty fast, but all the information once again is in the build planner down below if you want to have a look at that. There are some choices that I've made that aren't the best choices, but they're choices that have worked for me, so play around by yourself. Last Epoch is really forgiving. You can obviously respec and then level skills up again in some lower level zones, so it's totally fine for you. Very quickly, on the skill bar itself, we've got Javelin, Hammer Throw, Volatile Reversal, Holy Aura, and Lunge. But we're also using Smite, but it's always auto-procced as well. So first of all, let's have a look at the skills. In no particular order, the specializations are Javelin, Hammer Throw, Smite, Lunge, and Holy Aura. Now, so first of all, we're going to talk about Javelin itself. Now, as I did mention, we're going to be using Siege Barrage. Basically, I'm just going to be talking about the most important parts. You can figure out how much you want to specialize into each individual node, but I do have all of the points right here as well. The very important thing is Siege Barrage. If you do have enough mana, you're going to be taking 2 points into Spike Bombardment to add some extra Javelins, but it does increase the mana cost quite a bit. So if you're struggling with mana, you can unspec out of a couple of these nodes. The next important thing is basically another thing for mana, Excellent Balance. You're going to want all 3 points in excellent balance for -3 mana cost per point, totaling -9 mana cost. I've got 10 mana cost on Javelin right now, basically doubling the mana cost if we don't have these nodes right here. Last of all, Holy Spears to give flat lightning damage, throwing lightning damage to Javelin, and then converting the rest of our physical damage to lightning damage for Javelin there as well is very important, because critting with lightning skills gives you a bunch more damage. I think it's like 100 crit multi or something like that. Anyway, it's a lot of crit multi that lightning crits do actually give for you, so Divine Throws is super important. Next off, we're going to talk about Hammer Throw. Hammer Throw is kind of our clear/support skill. It's going to be doing some armor shred. It's also going to be Nova spiraling around you and proccing a bunch of smites with our idols. So first of all, we're going to want Catapult into Avatar of Spire, and then as many points as you can get into Ballista to make the mana cost go quite down. You're then going to want Hammer Vortex to make the hammer spirals orbit around you, and Iron Spiral obviously to make the hammer spiral, taking as short amount of points as you can through here, and then finishing everything off with some Rapid Throw attack speed, some Shattering Force armor shred chance to help you with your single target, and some Guardian Zeal to help you with the single target there as well, increasing crit chance, global crit chance, and global increased damage there as well, which is super nice. Now, as I said, we're going to be proccing Smite through Adorned Ray Idols, so I'm using 3 of them. You can use 4, but I like 3, and then getting some throwing attack crit multi and percent health restored on Lunge here as well, which is pretty important. But casting Smite when you hit with throwing attacks, so we've got about a 24% chance, I think, in terms of all of these. That means that every time you hit with a throwing attack, you've got a 24% chance to proc a Smite, and that's why we're specializing into Smite. So first of all, we're going all the way into the lightning tree and getting Wandering Bolts just to help with our clear. And then secondly, Smite's going to be landing, and if we're near Smite wherever it's landing, which is going to be proccing a lot, we're getting going to be getting a lot of health regained through Smite healing 200% from Grace, and then getting health regen and mana regen to help with our, single target and everything like that through Soothing Balm. Holy Wave is just 1 point to help for the travel there as well, and then getting a lot of increased healing effectiveness that I'll talk about in the passive skill tree and the gearing section there as well. And then lastly, we're going to be talking about Lunge and Holy Aura. Now, Lunge is going to be helping with our clear through proccing a bunch more Smites in Holy Incursion. Lunge's final hit has a chance to cast Smite, and we've got 4 points in that, giving it a 100% maximum Smite chance. So every time that we hit with Lunge, it's going to be casting Smite at up to 3 nearby targets. 3 nearby targets, which are going to be proccing 3 lightning bolts each. Actually 6 lightning bolts each, so that's 18 lightning bolts every time that we lunge into a pack, which is basically going to be clearing the whole pack. And then with our hammer throw, we're clearing up the rest of the stragglers right there as well. We're then also going to be talking about Pylon Assault. Now, Pylon Assault means that our final hit causes Javelin to proc when using a polearm. Now, this is great to lunge onto the tankiest mob in a pack. Javelin will proc down, and then that'll kill the tanky mob, causing some Smite procs, and then the rest of the Javelin procs and the Smite procs will be killing everything around you, so it's a lot right there. Now, I am spec'd up into Dawn Charge as well, so every time that we use Lunge on a target, we're going to be regaining 40% of missing health on Lunge, coupled with a couple of the adorned idols, the large idols right here, with the 6% right here, so basically almost 50% of our missing health. It's really, really important to have this. It's going to help your survivability so much. Lastly, up into some Lunge charges. Now, you don't actually need to lead the charge. You can put this point somewhere else, because I just realized it's only giving the haste buff to other allies. But it's really nice to get some extra Lunge charges to be able to lunge. And the cooldown length is not too important, because we're also mitigating that in other areas. And lastly, Holy Aura. Holy Aura is an aura that is based around you that is passively giving you bonuses, but if you activate it, I've got it on my skill bar on R right here, if you activate it, it basically doubles those points. So we're going to be taking things like Fanaticism for attack speed, True Strike for crit chance, Extreme Zeal for crit multi, Expedite for throwing attack speed and haste chance, Strength from Afar for throwing attack damage, and then lastly some health regen through Vital Boon right there as well. And as I said, Volatile Reversal is the last skill that you've got here. You're not specializing into this, but Volatile Reversal is a skill that actually sets you back 2 seconds. So you can see here that I'm throwing a lot of Javelins. If I use Volatile Reversal when I'm at low mana, it actually regains a bit of my mana there for me, which is super, super nice. Just, giving me a ton of mana back. So the best way to actually do this is to start using your Javelin, use R as well, and then basically using Volatile Reversal to get back all of the mana from Holy Aura and all of the mana that you've used from Javelin there as well. So trying to use as much mana as you can within 2 seconds, then using Volatile Reversal to basically sustain your boss damage there as well. Once again, because of all the Smite procs, you want to be standing as close as you can to your Javelins landing down, so you get all of those procs on yourself. I'll just use it on the target dummy right here. You get all of the healing procs on the target dummy with all of the Smite procs coming down. Alright, that's the skills. Let's talk about the passives. Gonna very quickly go over it. I haven't actually talked about the specialization on this, or the mastery on this, but it is a Paladin. Now, Paladin's very, very important, because you're getting so much critical strike chance and multi and damage through Holy Precision right here. But you're also taking a lot of elemental resistance and other resistances like necrotic resistance through the passive skill tree. So in no particular order, well, in order that you can spec them, Conviction full points, Defiance full points, Valor full points for health and healing effectiveness, Holy Symbol full points, speccing into as much dedication as you need until you can start taking full points in Holy Precision. Then you're going to be taking a couple of points in Reverence just to try and get to Light of Reye, and then taking all points in Light of Reye for move speed and increased lightning damage. Going to be taking the base points in the Sentinel right here, the base class of 5 points in Juggernaut, 5 points in Fearless, 5 points in Relentless, and 5 points in Valiant Charge for cooldown recovery speed. Then also just going to be taking minimum 5 points in terms of Devouring Blade, increased damage on recent kill right here, so we can unlock Volatile Reversal. And then Forge Guard was just a little bit of throwing damage, but I would actually, if you're feeling a little bit squishy, I'd take all of these points out. You don't need Shield Throw at all or Forge Guard. Put them more into some Paladin Dedication or Reverence of Duality right here, and that's really going to help you. Now remember, you can respec very easily passive points in Last Epoch just by going to the person who has the brain above their head, respecking the points right here. I'm actually just going to respec all of these. So I could actually just respec all of these right out because I don't need these at all. And then I could put them into some more defenses in the Paladin mastery tree right here. I'm actually just going to spec them all into Reverence of Duality, giving myself a bunch more mana, healing effectiveness, damage, and health. Alright, let's talk about the gear itself. We're going to talk about the idols first. As I have mentioned previously in the guide, I'm going to be using 3 casting Smite when you hit with throwing attacks. These are not needed. You can definitely play the build without them, but, you know, once you find them, they're all on the loot filter as well down below if you want to have a look at that one. Once you find them, it's really going to help your survivability and your clear as well. It's really, really nice. I'm then also using some throwing attack critical strike multiplier right here and some percent missing health restored on Lunge, and some chance to shred armor, and then a couple of just things giving me a little bit of healing effectiveness, maybe some physical damage dodge rating. These are both really terrible, and these are not min-maxed whatsoever, but you can choose what you like right here. I'm going to talk about the most important parts about the gear itself quickly. You can see I've got quite a few exalted items, but they're definitely not min-maxed whatsoever. It's just giving me a little bit of damage. But the most important part about this build are your 2 rings. You're going to be wanting 2 rings, both with -3 throwing attack mana cost. So this is either tier 4 or 5 of these. So you can see tier 4 right here is -3, and tier 5 right here is -3 as well. These are going to mean that you're going to be able to sustain your throwing attacks. If you don't have these rings, it's going to be a little bit harder. You're still going to be able to do so, and, you know, hammer throw is going to be totally fine to level with, but you're going to want these as quick as possible. And then secondly, your bronze glaive. Now, the bronze glaive itself is probably the best polearm. If you're going to be using polearms, you don't have to. You can use scepters and shields and something like that if you would like to, because you can still use Javelin with that. But polearm right here is going to mean that you're going to be getting base critical strike chance. Any other polearm is either going to be giving you haste chance, or it's going to be giving you melee critical strike chance, which is not what we need whatsoever with bronze glaive. So I went for a bronze glaive. I was very lucky to drop a tier 6 increased critical strike chance right here. Then I crafted on critical strike multiplier and chance to shred armor. The less damage taken from critical strikes is not very important right there, so I'm going to try and improve this one right here, but it's still a very good bronze glaive right there. You can look for a good bronze glaive, and you're going to be looking for global modifiers, so that's global critical strike chance, global critical strike multiplier, lightning damage. Any modifier that you see on a weapon like this is actually global, unless it states that it is local. So say, for example, melee damage or melee flat damage or something like that is still going to be global. It's going to apply to all of your skills that might not even be hitting with Bronze Glaive if they are a melee skill, etc., etc. So it's one important thing to note about items in Last Epoch themselves. The Bronze Helm right here, it's just got, you know, some exalted health right there, which is pretty nice, and some increased throwing attack critical strike chance. So you'll notice that I actually have pretty much full critical strike chance. Critical strikes are basically signified by yellow numbers right here. So you can see right here, basically all the time I'm critting yellow, which is pretty tasty. Now, the rest of your gear, basically in all slots, is just going to be looking at getting plus levels. You know, plus level to Lunge on your solar plate. You can either get plus level to Hammer Throw, Smite, or Javelin on your Relic. But just trying to cap out the rest of your resistances. As you can see here, it's really easy to cap resistances on a Paladin because of all of the passives you do get for Ellie Res here. You're getting Necrotic Res here, and you're also getting Elemental Resistances through Holy Aura just as base right there, an extra 15. So all of it is super, super nice and very, very easy to gear. You can see that I've got some lightning damage on my leather belt, and then basically very generic throwing attack damage, crit strike multi, fizz res on the bone amulet. But I still need to improve a lot. You can see here that it's definitely not improved, and I'm still farming empowered monoliths with all of this. Lastly, we're going to talk about the blessings and then the leveling. Now, blessings I haven't fully finished myself, but I've got the 2 most important blessings in this build itself, which I'm just going to actually go to the monoliths themselves. So the first important one is the Black Sun. You're going to be wanting to try and hunt Wrath of Ra'e, which is throwing damage least as health. This is going to be helping you a lot in terms of your survivability. And then the second one is right after this, which is the Monolith of Fate, ending the storm, and you're going to be looking for Mysteries of the Deep, which is chance to shred lightning resistance on hit. Because we're hitting so much, we're going to be shredding a lot of the lightning resistance on the enemies. These 2 are basically best in slot, and then the rest are just going to be looking at, you know, maybe some resistances around the place maybe some increased armor. I do have some other stuff through all of this. I've got shred fire resistance on Breath of Cinders, but obviously that's not needed whatsoever, so I haven't min-maxed it at all. But those are the two most important ones right there, and then obviously if you're doing empowered monoliths, trying to upgrade them there as well. That's basically it for the blessings. The last thing I'll talk about is the leveling, but I'm not going to talk about it much at all. You can level just very simply, starting with hammer throw into javelin, just basically going through all of these points and taking them, you know, as you see fit. And then when you want to, you can pick up smite. After you can basically specialize into lunge third, then pick up holy incursion, specialize into smite fourth. So basically you're clear through leveling with lunge. Holy incursion is going to be helping you clear so much, and then lastly specializing into holy aura when you get to level 50 to just give you a bunch more of everything else right there. You can, you know, spec into volatile reversal in terms of void knight 5 points whenever you want. I basically did it after level 80. I didn't feel like I needed it whatsoever, but that's basically it. Leveling is going to be super simple. You're just going to be looking for any sort of drops on the ground. They're going to be increasing your throwing damage, your physical damage, until you take lightning, and then you're going to be looking at lightning damage. Then you're going to start looking at critical strike chance, but remember, try and focus on these rings as soon as possible. That is everything. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If there's anything that you think I missed, please let me know. This is my first build guide on Last Epoch. Once again, down in the comments below, there is the build planner and the filter, the sample filter that I am going to be including for this. That's everything. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to hit that sub button down below, and if you want to come watch me live on Twitch, I'm going to be playing some more Last Epoch. It's twitch.tv/thisisbadger. Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time, Badger is out.